Hey yo everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing Swamp Thing, issue number 3. Take a look at this comic cover right here. Now, when we last left off on issue number 2, Alec Holland is on the run after having a nice little conversation with the Green and the avatar of the Green, Swamp Thing. He is then attacked by the Swamp Thing's, or the Green's, enemy, this monstrosity known as the Rot. He's able to get away only to be saved by this woman on a bike. The woman takes off this helmet and then points a gun at him and, well, basically threatens to kill him. The issue starts off in issue number 3 with her wanting proof that he is actually Alec Holland. It takes some time, but eventually he's able to prove it to her, and she introduces herself as Abigail Arcane, I believe. I hope I'm correct. Anyways, this woman has a particular interest in Alec Holland, and apparently she's been the one that he's been dreaming of. A previous character from the previous Swamp Thing series, who's had a connection with the previous Swamp Thing. Again, I haven't read Swamp Thing before this, so this character is relatively new to me. And the way that Scott Snyder handles this character, it really doesn't matter if she's new to you or not. Everything you need to know about this character is given to you in this issue. We also have on the side a story about a boy named William, and he's basically a boy who is so allergic to the atmosphere and to the air around him that if he was to ever leave his protective plastic bubble, he would die. However, he's finding out that he can do some atrocious, horrible things. He can control dead matter. He can do stuff to people that is just, well, horrific. I'll give an example. There's this guy that smokes, and his lungs are basically, damaged from smoking. The boy makes the lungs come out of the guy's mouth. That's pretty extreme. Dead silence, there's a reason that was pretty extreme. So this kid's doing these horrific things, and we reveal, has a connection to something, which, is of interest to both Abigail and also Alec Holland. So how do all three of them connect together? And what does this have to do with Swamp Thing and the Green and the Rot? Exactly what's going on here? Well, you're just going to have to read and see. Let's get into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. Boy, when they say Scott Snyder is the nicest guy in the world, but he has some screwed up thoughts, they hit it on the head. Scott Snyder comes off as really the nicest guy. He comes off as a good family man, but when he writes stuff, he writes some pretty twisted stuff. But that's a good thing, because Swamp Thing is supposed to be a horror-like book, a monster book, and I like it being twisted. I was kind of just sitting there like this when I saw that guy's lung out of his mouth. Really playing to the tone very nicely, and Scott Snyder does know how to capture the tone very nicely. He progresses the story on a good pace, not too much too quickly, not too little too slowly. It is a good pace for the story. This character that's introduced, Abigail Arcana, or Arcane, I forget exactly how they spelt it out, but Abigail is a previous character in the Swamp Thing series. However, I did not read Swamp Thing up to this point. What I like about what Scott Snyder is doing with this series is you don't need to know anything about Swamp Thing up to this point. Everything that is necessary to know about this character is introduced in this issue. I do not need to go back and read issue number 75 of the Vertigo Swamp Thing series. No. Right there is all the information I need. And that's what I like about this series, is that Scott Snyder makes it incredibly accessible for the reader, which is great. Bad. I can't really think of any bad at all. Whether or not you should get it, boy, is there's any comic in the DCNU that's really knocking it out of the ballpark, it's Swamp Thing. There's a lot of comics that I would say that are as good, or if not better than this, in the DCNU right now. Some of the titles I'm enjoying a little bit more than Swamp Thing are like Wonder Woman or Batman. But Geez, Swamp Thing is a great title. And this was one of the titles that I wasn't going to get, but because Scott Snyder seduced me into buying it, I'm happy he did because this comic has been really great and it's turning out to be quickly one of my favorite comics, period. I really enjoy this, and when it comes down to week one of the month, I think it's Swamp Thing I look forward to the most. That and Detective Comics. It's a great comic. It's definitely worth picking up. Be warned, if you're not used to Swamp Thing, it's not a superhero comic. It's set in the DC universe, but it's a monster comic. It's a horror comic. I mean, you see people's heads get snapped and turn all the way around on their own. It's really kind of a disturbing comic, but it is, boy, it is good. So definitely pick up Swamp Thing. It is fun, it's enjoyable, it's worth your money, it's worth your time. With that said, this is Andrew saying peace out for now.